Hey there guys, it's Lee here, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set up the Ethereum mining Stratum Proxy for Dwarfpool or other pools. So you might be wondering, what is the purpose of the Stratum Proxy, what does it do and how can it benefit you? The primary benefit is that you're going to get an increase on your mining performance. Estimates are somewhere around between 10 and 20%. So it's quite a significant increase. So you don't really have to do anything to your hardware. You don't. It doesn't involve any overclocking or anything like that. It's just a little change in your software and the way your miner connects through the proxy and then connects to the pool. So straight by default, most miners they connect to the pools using a protocol called Getwork. That's how most miners connect, or at least in the beginning. Stratum is just a more efficient way of doing that. Now, a lot of the current sort of Ethereum miners support Stratum, and if you're not already using that, then I would recommend to do so. What I did actually notice is that with Dwarfpool, there's an extra bit of a configuration and software needed to do it. So I was setting that up today, and it was a little bit fiddly to get the configuration quite right, but it only took a few minutes, and eventually I worked out exactly what was causing the issues. So I wanted to share that with you guys today, so hopefully you can kind of see the process, how I do it, and then it hopefully will make it easier for you guys. So let's jump in. So on the screen you'll see that I've remotely logged into Risky File 1. It's a Windows 10 machine. And I'm just logged in using TeamViewer, which is really good, but I'll leave that for another day. So yeah, Windows 10 remote login. So in the bottom right hand corner we have our normal sort of ETH miner. The one that I'm currently using is this one, which is 0.9.41 Genoil 107. So that's the Ethereum miner that I'm using, and I have been using quite well. It's good for AMD and also Nvidia cards, so that's really good. So that's the ETH miner running in the bottom right hand corner, and then you'll notice more to the center, you'll notice that there is this ETH proxy.exe. So this is the Stratum Proxy. So what's actually happening is, with your normal miner on the bottom right hand side, you'll have your miner, and that will connect directly to the pool, and the information will travel backwards and forwards from pool to miner, pool to miner. What we're going to actually set up with the actual Stratum is your miner is going to connect to the proxy, the Stratum Proxy, and then the Stratum Proxy is going to connect to the pool. So that sounds more complicated, but what actually happens is it's more efficient. So what it's going to do is kind of like bulk up the work for you and then send it to your miner without the miner going backwards and forwards, and you're losing efficiency there. So I'm going to show you that whole sort of process now. So let's start. So if we go, there'll be a link in the description for the actual ETH proxy. I'll put that link in the description. Let's just sorry, just a little bit of a delay there whilst I am working remotely on this machine. So download the ETH proxy and then extract it to a folder of your choice. Here I'm just working from the actual downloads folder. Inside you'll see there is a config file, the ETH proxy, a license, and a readme. So what you want to do is just right click on the ETH proxy and then go to edit. So that, just to be clear, that was the eth-proxy.conf, and then just go to edit. It should open up with Notepad. If it doesn't, right click, go to open with, and then select to open it with your Notepad. And at the top you'll see these various sort of information. What you're going to do is scroll down a little bit, and then at the end of that, where you've got these server information, sorry, it's just a little bit laggy where I'm connecting. So then what you have is select Ethereum, ETH, or Expanse. So you want ETH for Ethereum. Then it's got a host and port for your workers. It really should say miners. It kind of causes a little bit of confusion. Then in this part here, you want to type 127.0.0.1, and that's the IP address for your local machine. Where it's got port, you can leave it as it is, so it's 880. The next part that we're going to need is your actual wallet address. So I'm just going to get mine. If I go to my ETH miner folder, if I open up one of my mining batch files, I'll be able to copy it from there. So I'm just going to copy my wallet address, which is where I want to be mining to. Then I go back to that notepad that we was editing, and then I'm just going to change these X's to my wallet address. Paste that in there. Then a little further down, it also has enable worker ID, and by default this is set to false, but you want to just change that false, just change it to true. That allows you to track your actual workers. So you can, if you give your workers a nickname, you'll be able to track them in the Dwarfpool statistics. And that's basically pretty much the only things you need to do to change that ethproxy.config file. There's some other options, but you can just leave them as they are. The other thing, the other thing I didn't actually mention is with the Stratum Proxy, one of the other really cool features is it also has a failover pools built into it. So what happens is if you're mining on your normal pool, say like the European Dwarfpool, if that pool goes down, this will automatically switch to another pool, in this case the Russian pool or the US pool. So that's really good. So if the pool goes down, you've got a backup. So that's really good. Okay, so there are changes that we need to make for this. So we go to File, and then we go to Save, and that just saves that configuration file. So we can close that now. We can close that other batch file as well for the time being. Okay, so that should be our ETH proxy set up. So we should be able to just double click that now, and it should run. Okay, that looks good. So you should see once it started up, it should say listening for miners on 127.0.0.1.880, and then it says some other information there. Connected to the various pools, so that's great. So that's basically ready to go. If you double click it and it just closes it immediately, what you want to do is just right click in the actual folder and go to, actually press the shift and right click, then go to open command window, then just type eth-proxy.exe and press enter, and it will run. But what will happen is the window will stay open and it will give you like an error message, so you can see what the error is and then fix that particular problem. So that's just a little tip there. But our proxy miner is working fine. So we can just minimize that or move it somewhere out of the way a little bit. Okay, so the Stratum Proxy is working. The next thing we want to do is we actually want to set our miner to actually connect to the actual proxy. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our normal ETH miner, and then we have our default kind of mining configuration. So I'll show you mine here. The top part is just sets the maximum memory for the actual graphics card itself. You might have that in your config or not. The next part is the ETH miner, and then my normal sort of configuration, and then with a pause underneath. So what I'm actually going to do is show you how to connect to the actual proxy. So if we go and we copy this file, and then we just want to paste it. If we then make sure I'm just editing the right one, we want to edit. Okay, so there is a few little changes that we need to make. So the first part is this part here, which is the actual address. So we want to remove that address, and we want to type 127.0.0.1, and then you've got colon, and then you want 880. The next part is you can remove your Ethereum address. Remove that, and then just leave 1/ and then your nickname. So we've got, so that is basically the actual connection address. So what it's actually going to do is going to connect to your local proxy. Basically, you're kind of doing like a loop back. It's going to reconnect to your own computer, and that's that information. The other thing that we need to add is, let me just check from the other file because I can't remember it off the top of my head. It is yes, this yeah, this dash farm dash rechecked 200, we need to add that as well. So where's my other notepad? Yeah, this one. And let's just paste that in there. So you'll need to add that as well. So you've got ETH miner dash dash farm dash recheck and then a number 200. The 200 setting is 200 milliseconds. So you can change that accordingly. What you'll see is when I start the actual miner up, you'll see it refreshes, and it basically going to refresh every 200 milliseconds. So you might want to change that to like 500, and it will just slow down that sort of process. By default, they recommend 200, so I guess we'll just stay with that. So I'll say that. So that's my batch file now. So the top part you might or might not have, but the important part is this ETH miner dash dash farm recheck 200 dash G, which is for AMD cards. Change that to dash U if you've got an Nvidia. I want to mine CUDA style. And then we've got dash F, and then that's the remaining. So I'm just going to save that now. And then it was the copy. So if I double click this now and start that application. So it's found the graphics cards, starting to mine, and then now you can see that actually mining. Whoop. I'm just going to slide that over. So just to move those over there. Yeah, so in the bottom right hand corner we've got the Ethereum miner, but it's connecting to the proxy miner, and then the proxy miner is connecting to the pool. So you can see at the moment it says for Riskifier 1 is 0, but in about, I think it refreshes about every 30 seconds or maybe a minute, that will go up. You'll also be able to see it on the actual Ethereum Dwarfpool, the actual pool itself. You'll be able to see hash rate and all that sort of information. So that's it, guys. I think that's sort of covered all the details that you would need to know. If you have any questions or comments, as always, just let me know in the comments box, and I'll try and clarify any details that you need. I'll put the links to the miner and the ETH proxy all in the description, and that should be everything that you need to get set up. Ethereum mining using the Stratum Proxy on Dwarfpool or perhaps another pool. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.